Ladies and gentlemen, have a good day. This is Peace from Hytera Marketing Department. Thank you very much for your attending. It is our great honor to getting you here. As we know, Hytera provides a multi-mount advanced radio with RoIP, advanced position location, high UI, PUC, smart MDM to users. In the webinar today, there are 4 topics. The first topic is about what are the models and the basic features of Hytera multi-mount advanced radio. The second topic is software and updates. The third topic is about Hytera multi-mount advanced radio solution. The last topic is about global case study. Okay, now let me introduce today's speaker, Roger. Roger joined Hytera in 2004. He has more than 15 years experience of radio product development and measurements, including an analog radio, DMR radio, and repeater, and the multi-mount advanced radio. He is also experienced with hardware engineering, product strategy, and PMR market analysis. Today's panelist is Dian Zhu. He will answer the questions through the Q&A box during the webinar. And there will be also a 10-minute dedicated Q&A session with Roger after his presentation. Okay, now let's welcome today's speaker, Roger.
Okay, thank you, Peace. Well, let's get started. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking your time to attend this webinar during this COVID-19 pandemic time. And I think it's a good way to meet all of you online so we can get in touch with the partners and friends here. And I wish I can brief you the most recent updates for our multimodal radio products. And I hope this can help you to build up more business opportunities and potentials. My name is Roger Lang, and I've been working at Hytera since 2004. And now I'm the product director in overseas team, mainly in charge of narrowband products like DMR or Hytera, including terminals and systems, as well as multimodal products. Today, my presentation is mainly on the updates of multimodal radios. And if you have any questions, just feel free to drop a line in the chat box, and my colleagues here will help to answer it as soon as possible. Now, the multimodal radio solution updates will be covering 4 parts, because the first multimodal radio has launched 3 years ago, and we had a few more releases, new models and bandwidths, and some more solutions on hardware and software during the past 3 years. So I would like to first summarize what we have today, and followed by the updates from different perspectives, including software, solutions, and applications, then case study. So what we have today, we have 2 major models, the 760 series, which was officially launched on May 2017 at CSW Hong Kong, and 680 series, which was launched on June last year at CSW Kuala Lumpur. Both models are purposely built for critical PMI users with the dual display design. And there is a top slanted monochrome display to show all the critical information at a glance, especially when you wear the radio on your belt. You don't have to take it up and light up the main screen to check all the core informations like core ID, channel, or battery capacity, and so on. It really helps you to stay focused on your missions by reducing your efforts on messing around with the radio. Well, another common design is they are both built upon the concept of PMR critical voice is a must-have. and broadband data is complementary. The PMR information is always on or standby, and the broadband platform can be switched off if necessary. Well, the major difference between these two models are the 760 features with a 4-inch front display and accommodates small applications, while the 680 features with a 3.6-inch LTPS display. You may have a question on this because the display size are almost the same. Well, actually the 4-inch display and its resolution falls into the Google display category as medium, while the 3.6-inch display is categorized as small. And most applications are developed with its UI to fit into those large or medium displays. So as for a small display radio, you need extra effort to engage the application developer to make adaptation based on the radio APK. So it really makes difference between this 4-inch and 3.6-inch. The next difference is 760 has bigger size and weigh around 380 grams. And that's why it has higher capacity battery and can accommodate car key connector and supports car key solution. I will elaborate more on the car key solution in the following solution section. The 680 looks more like a radio form factor, slimmer, lighter, only 325 gram and even 10% lighter than our bestseller PD7 series. However, the 680 features stronger audio and higher robustness ratings, like up to 128 dB sound pressure level, as strong as the PD9 series, the IP68 ingress protection, 1.5 meters drop resistant, and the IEC level 4 ESD ratings. So this difference makes the 680 more like a traditional PMR radio, and the 760 is more like a ruggedized smartphone. Well, another thing I would like to mention here is after our multimode radio was launched 3 years ago, more and more dual-mode or hybrid radios were rolled out to the market, mainly because people are realizing the way of migration to full broadband era would take a longer time than expected. The cost of ownership, the validation of the broadband technologies for mission critical services, and even the political situations are the major hurdles that slow down the PMR industry to migrate to broadband. So multimode radio is a concept just like our smartphone, still having a GSM for voice call and LT for broadband data. So building all this in one radio is a proven concept for smooth migration. So this concept seems to be well accepted, and Hytera was a pioneer in this bandwagon and will definitely keep paving this road for the years to come. But people may ask, what is the main difference between Hytera's multimode radio and the others? Well, I mentioned before, our multimode radio is built upon the concept of PMR voice is a must-have. And the PMR platform is always on and or standby once you power up the radio. So the PMR platform, either DMR or Tetra, they are fully trunking capable. Also has a high power output and just the same as your PMR radios. Not like some of the hybrid devices in the market, either reduce power level to 2 watt or 0.5 watt, or only support direct mode scenarios. And they are compromising the capabilities in D2D communication and the interoperation with other legacy PMR systems. So this is what I think the major difference in terms of device only. And I'm going to talk about more benefits of our multimode radios in terms of application and solutions. Now, what's the key value of the multimode radio solution? 3 years ago, when we first launched the multimode radio, we have painted a big picture to illustrate the key value of this solution. Simply say 3S concept. Sense, it means the radio will be a front sensing device for data acquisition directly or indirectly. There are multiple ways. Firstly, the radio can acquire data from the high definition camera, the 6 sensors, and the location service module that built inside the radio. Second, the radio has provided rich connectivity, let's say Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and NFC that allows connection with wireless accessories for more data input. The third one is you can connect those smart accessories with the 20-pin side connector by wire. So the building components and the connectivities provided by the radio makes it as a major entry of front-end data. Seamless. That means we have integrated the PMR and broadband platform into one single radio. The integration is not only in hardware, but also in software to make it as a convergent platform. Well, back in March this year, we have launched a brand new user interface in the 3.0 software release. The goal is to make it more unified for PMR features and broadband services towards the Android UI. I will elaborate more in the coming section. Now, another important application that brings you convergent experience is the radio over IP that was released at September last year. With this application, you don't have to toggle different applications for PMR call, PTT over cellular call, or GSM call. You have a unified code interface and a single core ID for all the core services. I'll talk about more of this in the coming section. The last but not the least, I'd like to mention is multimode radio can enable you to work under multiple networks and roam seamlessly. Yes, you can carry 2 or 3 devices to work under multiple networks, but that's not roaming. And you need to manually switch operations between devices. So this is a unique benefits of multimode radio, supporting multi-network roaming. Supervision. Supervision means the multimode radio can be well managed by a powerful backend software, the smart MDM, mobile device management software. We know that the radio is a vital tool for the PMR users, especially for public safety users. It's literally a lifeline for the field officers. So the multimode radio need to be in 100% good condition in all circumstances when it's in operation. The smart MDM will ensure this by a couple of awesome capabilities. The first pinpoint for the device management will be remote firmware upgrade. And due to the limited data bandwidth of the narrowband protocol, it's always been a headache for the PMR users to upgrade the device firmware at a large scale. But now with the broadband platform integrated, the multimode radio has the same capability just as the commercial cellular phones to support the firmware upgrade over the air in a very large scale. Security management is another pinpoint as it becomes more complicated when the broadband platform is integrated. For PMR users, the multimode radio is a tool for their jobs, but not a toy or personal device. They can't simply use it or install any apps they want or do any modification on it. There must be a way to control the security of the multimode radio. We have kept strengthening the security features for the smart MDM. Besides this, we also released new features like device diagnostics and cloud storage. I'll jump to the next section and talk about more. Now, I would like to start the updates from the software first, including the new UI and new features in Smart MDM. Well, this is the main screen for the new user interface. It is divided up into 4 entries, 1, 2, 3, 4, to assess different components. In overall, the new UI is targeted to deliver an efficiency-oriented and user-friendly experience, easy to access, more intuitive, following Android native operation. The main screen is highlighted with the PMR key information like contacts, channels, and signal strength. Basically, we extract most radio features and settings from the previous UI and put them onto the main screen entry. And also adding a couple of shortcut operations for voice call and video call so that the operation layers for the radio features are greatly reduced. These changes can ensure the first responders to initiate a call faster in demanding situations. If you slide right, you go to the widget screen, and there are more shortcuts and widgets to be tailored to fit for your daily jobs. You can customize your favorites for multitask interaction. So if you combine the widget screen and main screen, it will look like the previous main screen. Now, if you continue to slide down from the screen top, you'll be able to access the control and notification center. In the previous UI, they are divided up, one slide from the bottom and the other slide from the top. It would take some time for the end users to get used to it. And now it's not needed because they are combined and just the same as the native Android. Now, if you slide left from the main screen, you will find all the Android apps, including Android native apps, Hytera apps, and other third-party apps. Unlike the previous UI, you need to slide right from the left edge. It's easier to find out your desired apps when you first time get your hands on this radio. Well, I guess many of our partners may have seen the video clips of the new UI introduction on the social media like YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, or from the push web link from our marketing emails. But if not, then let's take a closer look, and I'm going to show you some details. Well, let's get started from the main screen. On the top side, you see the core components that shows the current contact, folder, power level, and the work mode. The key PMR information, basically. If you unfold it, you'll find a quick entry of the video call, the location service, and a subgroup or folder. Well, under the core component, you'll find a quick entry of a widget showing that more PMR information like this RSSI and the standby channel, if in the trunking mode, but if it's in conventional mode, it'll be slightly different. If you move a little bit downward and long press the blank area, you'll find the settings of the wallpaper, and you can customize more widgets for the PMR features. At the bottom, there are 3 daily use apps, the dialer, the radio application, and the PMR settings. The big one is this radio application. Basically, we pack most PMR features including messages, dial pad, contacts, subgroup or folders. We pack all these elements into one application. So you just need to stay at the main screen to access nearly all necessary PMR features. We believe this design will facilitate the end user to quickly learn out how to operate the device. Well, on the main screen, you can't put too many widgets. So in this widget screen, you can put in more. On top is the shortcuts, and mostly one-touch activation of a certain function or application. You can see here is a photo shortcut and a video shortcut. If you click the photo, you enter the camera mode to take a picture. If you click the video, you directly enter the video mode. Like this, you don't have to find and click the camera application and toggle between photo mode and video mode. Well, below the shortcuts are those customized widgets. You can see the PMR widget here. Here displays more information compared to the similar widget at the main screen, like the transmit and receive frequencies. You can scroll down to the bottom and click the edit to add or delete the widgets. You can also press and drag to sort the widgets. Now the next one is the control and notification center. As I mentioned before, in release 2.7 or below, you need to slide up from the bottom or for the control center, or slide down from the top for the notification center. Now they are combined in release 3.0, more intuitive and following the native Android. There are many unique shortcuts switches here for DMR settings, the PMR settings, and there is one new switch added here, the screen recording. This is new to release 3.0. So these are the major updates for the new UI. Let's move on. Well, the next updates will be the Smart MDM. In the past 12 months, there are 4 releases on it. Many enhancements has been done on the current feature sets, as well as a couple of exciting new features. So I'd like to summarize those updates from these 4 perspectives: hybrid device management, enhanced security, device diagnostics, and cloud storage. The first one, the hybrid device management. Well, in early release of the software, only the multimodal radio and broadband devices are supported, but we keep enhancing its capabilities and increase the radio models to be supported, especially for our DMR and texture portfolio. Currently, the supported models for the DMR are PD6 series and above models, and for Tetra, all the Hytera branded models are supported. Well, here is a typical Smart MDM solution architecture. The client station will be deployed in the control room or the mobile office. By unlocking the client software, the administrator will create tasks to and set up the schedule. The typical tasks include like firmware upgrade, radio programming, and application installation. After that, the task will go to the server for processing. If the task is for multimodal radio or broadband devices, you just need to keep them online at the preset schedule, and the task will be automatically executed on the radio remotely without any human intervention. If the task is for the PMR radio, it will be forwarded to the specific workstation that connects with the radio for auto task execution. Currently, the DMR radio only support wire connection by the serial port. And for texture radio, It supports either wire or over-the-air programming via a mobile gateway that connects to the workstation. But for this OCAP function, it's mainly to reconfigure certain parameters like frequencies or grouping. It's not meant for firmware upgrade due to the limited data bandwidth over the air interface. On the right side, there is a chart to illustrate the comparison of programming efficiency between the traditional CPS programming and remote programming by the smart MDM. Different radio types and different numbers of the radios are listed here. Okay, let's check. The multimode radio programming time reduced by 70% to 98% as per different numbers of device. And PMR radio programming, the programming time reduced by 40% to 75%. And for firmware upgrade over the air, both can reduce the time by more than 90%. So you can see the more radios to be managed, the more efficiency improvement will be seen. If you are going to manage a big bunch of multiple radios or mixed radio types, Hytera Smart MDM is a perfect choice for you. Now, in the early release, the Smart MDM focused security management mainly on application installation, device security, policy settings, and supplementary services like lost radio queue or data erase. Now, in the recent release, we have strengthened those areas as well as add in more security policies on the MDM server. For example, besides the blacklist and whitelist strategy, we add in forced running application list that controls the broadband devices to force running certain apps once the device is powered up. Any device failed to do so will be reported on the Smart MDM dashboard. This is a requirement from one of our public safety customers. Now, besides the radio local security, we also introduced two-way authentication based on HTTPS protocol between the server and the radio prior to data exchange. This is to prevent any illegal access to either the server or the radio. Another feature is the hybrid encryption, saying 2 or 3 encryption algorithms that implemented on the sensitive data in the database. This is to prevent any hacker or virus attacks to the database. Those sensitive data may include like encryption keys, user password, or evidence files. Those are most important data. The third one is the device diagnostics. These are value-added features to help you maintain your devices in the best condition whenever or wherever they are in operation. The battery health status monitoring is extremely helpful. Here, I would like to share with you a real story. Once upon a time, we received complaints on the battery capacity from a public safety customer. They say because the battery always having low capacity, low battery alarm, causing they fail one time in criminal investigation action. So after we got the samples, we tested those samples and found the battery capacity has dropped to lower than 60%. The battery was shipped from the factory at least 2 years ago and have been heavily used during the past 2 years. And that's why the capacity has dropped to such a low level. So we write up a report explaining that battery has been heavily used, and typically the battery has a charging cycle of 500 times, and after that, if the battery capacity drop to lower than 68%, the capacity will be dropping faster and faster if still being continuously used, and they need to replace them with new batteries to ensure their expected battery life. So eventually, yes, eventually the customer acknowledged the report and quickly placed a big order for the backup battery purchase. Well, if they have this tool, they can monitor the battery health status of any device at any time. They don't have to struggle with the low battery alarm issues and keep complaining the manufacturer, right? Well, another parameter being monitored is the device storage. If it's less than 2 GB left, there will be a warning on the monitoring dashboard, and the administrator can push a notification to the device owner to remind him back to the dedicated network to automatically upload the data to the server or cloud storage for backup purpose. The fourth one is the web access and cloud storage. These are also user-friendly features. With the new PS architecture, the administrator can access the Smart MDM client anywhere with just a laptop and web browser. And this is really flexible for the customer, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Many people are restricted to stepping out, and many companies also advise their employees to work remotely at home. So that means the radio administrator can manage the radios at home. So it's pretty cool. The cloud storage function will also allow the radio users to expand their local storage and can automatically back up the device data up to the cloud. So these are the updates on the software, and I'm going to move on to introduce the solution and application updates. Well, last year we have a very important and significant rollout of the multimode radio solutions. Yes, I have mentioned before, that's the Hytera Pro solution. But before that, I would like to talk about a little bit of the broadband migration trend in this industry. And that's how we developed the thoughts of building up the Hytera Pro solution. Well, a few years ago, when the mainstream narrowband technologies like DMR or DPMR, they're seeing a softened growth rate. The PMR industry started going into a period of migration to broadband era. And during this trend, we have identified 3 fundamental needs for the PMR users. The first one is, obviously, broadband data, which is pervasive in our daily life. And as you know, smartphone-like devices have been used by public safety officers prior to this trend, mainly for mobile policing, emails, and non-mission critical data applications. Then slowly the requirement growing up to video streaming and back-end command and control, computer-aided dispatch, and the big data analytics. They start to petition for dedicated spectrum from regulatory authorities and considering building up a nationwide LTE network. The second need is based on a fact that the legacy PMR network is not 100% coverage, especially at indoors, basements, tunnels, or mountains. And building up the indoor distribution system is quite heavy investment. people want to leverage the commercial networks to complement the footprint of their PMR networks. They usually have to carry two devices, one PMR radio and another broadband device to work in the multiple networks. So their footprint is extended, but they need to struggle on switching operations between different devices. But this is a viable approach. I mean, to leverage the commercial 4G or Wi-Fi networks to extend the footprint of existing PMR network. The third need is the interoperability. We know that during catastrophic events, the first responder from different departments, they need to collaborate in rescue operations. But in the narrowband age, the subscriber devices being used by different government agencies are so diversified in terms of frequency band, protocol, and manufacturers. This diversity results in very poor interoperability among the radio systems of those agencies. And this very problem stands for the fatal reason behind the death of many first responders in the aftermath rescue operations of two famous catastrophic events, the 9/11 World Trade Center terrorist attack and the Savo ferry sinking disaster. It was not until these disasters that interoperability was elevated from a long-standing concern to a critical national priority. So Hytera has built up a one-stop solution based on a multimode radio and HiTalk Pro platform to tackle these three fundamental needs. So what is Hytera HiTalk Pro? The first is this is a broadband PDD solution that built on the top of 3G, 4G, and Wi-Fi network. That means the HiTalk Pro platform, you're gonna have the POC services, the PDT over cellular services. And the 4G network can be private or from commercial network operator. The second is HiTalk Pro is an application to provide interoperability between PMR radio and broadband devices. That means the HiTalk Pro platform provides the interface to bridge between the LTE network and legacy PMR systems. With the HiTalk Pro, you can turn on the traditional radio services over LTE or any IP network. HiTalk Pro is also a step migration solution to complement the broadband data services based on legacy mission critical voice network. It's not going to ask you to throw away your PMR network. It's a bridge to link up your legacy PMR systems and LTE network to realize a smooth migration from narrowband to broadband. So this is a typical HiTalk Pro solution topology, and I think many of you may have seen this. So I'm going to quickly run through this and jump to the point. There are three layers. The top is the backend application, and in the middle is the infrastructure, the network infrastructure layer, and at the bottom is the subscriber device. If you look at the infrastructure layer, you see the HiTalk Pro mainly consists of the network, the server, and the network management software. The deployment is very simple. You just need a fixed IP from a cellular network operator to deploy the server, to provide a general POC services to broadband capable devices, very similar to our HiTalk solution. The difference of Hytera Pro is the additional interconnection capability to bridge the LT network and the legacy radio system. There are two connection architectures to interface with the radio systems. The first is a direct connection to the Hytera DMR-T3 system MSO. And if you are interfacing with the Tectra, MPT, or the DMR networks from other vendors, you can use PUC gateway to interconnect with the Hytera Pro. So either way, we'll provide a PMR to LT interoperability. I'll talk about the difference in the following pages. Now, if you look at the device layer, you see the PMR radios only works within the PMR networks. And the broadband devices only work within the LT network. Only multiple radio is capable to seamlessly roam between multiple networks. And that's the unique benefits of the multiple radio, same as our smartphone. Well, just now we talked about two interconnection architectures with the Hytera Pro. If it's a direct connection from Hytera Pro server to our DMR-T3 system, we call this radio over IP solution, like tunneling the PMR service over IP or LTE, like this topology. As a comparison, typical top solutions needs to connect the PMR systems with the gateway to process the protocol translation, where it generates additional delay. While the radio over IP solution is based on direct connection between the server and the MSO without additional protocol translation. So RoIP can achieve very low latency, sub-second latency. So this is the first key benefits of the RoIP solution. And another benefit is the full end-to-end encryption. The full end-to-end encryption is it can either between the subscriber to subscriber radio or between the dispatcher and subscribers. Not like the commercial POC solution, where typically the encrypted voice will be decrypted first at the POC server prior to re-encryption and retransmit to the PMR network. And this will also introduce extra delay in the call, or even the end-to-end encryption is not viable if the proprietary PMR network doesn't provide the encryption interface. So RoIP based on Hytera Pro is a deep integration solution, and you can also find these advantages at the multiple radio side. As I mentioned, the new UI section, there is a radio application where you can find convergent call interface. You can make either PMR call, POC voice call, video call, or mixed group call. Nearly all call services are available in just one UI. So you don't have to manually switch network or devices before making a call. The network selection is automated inside the multiple radio based on your configuration. Another point is you have the same call ID under multiple network, either PMR system or LT network. So when you are being called, the calling party doesn't have to know which network your radio is standby. And as long as you stay in either network, you'll be reached easily via the radio over IP services. You have the same call ID. So one more thing, the mixed group call. When you make a video call, group call, and the group members include broadband devices as well as PMR radios. The PMR radios will only receive the call as a voice call. So at least they can still talk to each other in a mixed group video call. They will not have any video showing up. Well, if it's not a direct connection between the HiTalk Pro server and the PMR network, you need to use a client application. That's the MPTT on a multimode radio for the POC services. So only POC services are provided in the application, such as multimedia message, video service, the POC call services, and the contact list, etc. And you are not going to have the same call ID under multiple networks. If you make a call to a PMR radio, and if you are under the coverage of the PMR network, you are recommended to make the call from the radio application rather than the MPTT, so that the quality of service is more guaranteed. Well, so far we have talked about the fundamental needs in the third era of this industry and how Hytera is addressing these requirements. It is no doubt there are alternative solutions to address that, like aggressive migration plan to a full dedicated LTE network with interconnection to the commercial network. This is also a viable approach, but there are two big concerns: the very high total cost of ownership, including CapEx or OpEx. And another is the long time validation of the broadband technology to implement the PMR services. It's really takes a long time for the MCX services in the 3GPP standard to be mature and good enough to replace the PMR services. So why Hytera is pursuing HiTalk Pro and multimode radio solution? These are the three reasons. Firstly, this is to provide a phased migration plan with controlled budget, because it's pretty easy and low cost to deploy a HiTalk Pro platform. So you can have a broadband PDT and video services based on a commercial cellular network. No need to build costly infrastructure to access those broadband services. The secondly is to provide an interoperability between the PMR radio and broadband devices and multimode radio to address different system scenarios. And different teams and groups are able to talk to each other, even they are using different types of devices. Thirdly, this is to provide the broadband data services and extending network footprint. With multimode radio and the HiTalk, you can facilitate your jobs on those Android apps. You have video streaming to improve situational awareness, and you will be able to roam seamlessly under multiple networks with one single multimode radio. So these are the highlights of the HiTalk Pro and multimode radio solutions. Now I'm going to switch gear and talk to the next part, but before that, how about we take a 5 minutes break, and we'll back here to, by 55 minutes, okay? Okay, that's going off a little bit. Hello. All right. Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you get refreshed after the little break. Now, let's move on. Well, now I'm going to switch gear to introduce you some of the accessory solutions and applications. Well, the first one is the car kit solution for 760. Here is a concept picture of the solution. Well, in the middle is the handheld radio putting in the car kit. With the car kit, the 760 is able to connect with a bunch of peripherals, including the remote speaker microphone and the RoIP tablet via the USB 2.0 interface, and the charging via the car battery, and the radio antenna, and GPS antenna, and the LT booster. Now, without the car kit, this handheld radio will surely have poor performance inside the car. So all these vehicular capabilities extended is through this little car kit. The car kit is the core of the total solution because it extends the capability of a handheld radio in two key areas: to have better RF performance and to achieve richer connectivity. Now let's first take a look at the RF portion. We know the handheld radio has poor RF performance inside the car because of its low gain antenna and the shielding effects by the heat insulation membranes on the windshields and all the metals in the car. That's why traditional mobile radio has power output connector and external roof mounted antenna. For our multimode radio, the radio RF is easily extended by the car kit because the radio antenna is detachable from an external connector. The problem is on LT RF. There is no external connector for the LT antenna. So when you turn to wireless solution, we need to use this LT booster to amplify the bidirectional cellular signals inside the car. I'll talk about more details of this booster at the next page. The next one is the connectivity, the power supply and charging, the analog signal and control signal, and high-speed data, all sorts of baseband signals. It's not possible for a handheld radio to equip with too many physical ports on the body. For example, the 20-pin side connector has USB 2.0 interface, but it's not on a physical Type-C or micro USB connector. If we build a dedicated connector for USB, the integrity of the radio and the ingress protection level will be compromised. The more holes on the radio, the less reliability you will expect from it. So when assembled into the car kit, the USB connector is split and extended on the car kit buckle, and the multimode radio is able to connect with the RSM and the tablet at the same time. Well, if you compare this solution with the traditional car kit solution, there are two additional requirements. The first is the high-speed data device connection, typically used for connecting a tablet for mirroring and reverse control of the applications on the radio, because in some countries, using the mobile device is forbidden inside the car, but fixed tablet is okay. Second is the LT-RF boosting. For those customers experiencing poor LT signal inside the car. So I'm going to elaborate more on the solutions for these two key requirements. Tablet mirroring and reverse control, the That means the tablet not only shows what's displaying on the multimode radio, you can also operate the applications on the tablet and reverse control the radio. It's like a virtual operation on the multimode radio. The only drawback is that the tablet cannot virtualize those physical buttons on the multimode radio, such as the PDT button and these three buttons in upfront. The tablet is wire connect with the multimode radio via shielded USB cable. And here is the key considerations during the tablet selection. So why we need to select a RoIP tablet? Two reasons. One is the hash environment in the car. In some of the countries like Middle East, when the car is pulled over and AC, the aircon is off, the in-car temperature can be up to 80 degrees Celsius or 176 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's damn hot. The ideal size can be 7" to 10 inches, because if it's too big, it will be difficult to install in the car, especially a sedan. But if it's too small, it will be not nicely to operate those applications in the tablet. The touch control latency need to be less than 300 milliseconds. Sorry. To ensure smooth migration, smooth operations on the applications and virtualized control of the multimode radio. Now, this is one of the key specs when we contemplate selecting the hardware spec and the mirroring software. So this is the tablet mirroring solution. And let's go back to the LTRF. Well, as I mentioned, the cellular signal is weak in the car, and our first challenge is there is no external connector for the LTRF. We need a workaround, the LT booster. The booster is installed inside the car and powered by the car kit and connected with an inside antenna and an outside antenna. So the booster acts like a relay to link up the multimode radio and the cellular access network. Well, this picture is just an illustration of the concept. In the actual scenario, the power cable is connected to the car kit, and the inside antenna is already built in the car kit as well. So we got two cables connected from the booster to the car kit, the power supply cable and the RF jumper cable for the inside antenna. Well, this is a sample spec of the band 28 booster. The frequency is on lower 700 Meg. The max gain is 60 dB, but in actual field test, we just need 10 to 20 dB gain in the low signal area. That's good enough to recover the data throughput. There's one of our customers who worried about the radiation from the booster. They worried the radiation will be too high and harmful to the drivers and passengers. When we first proposed this solution, well, actually, the downlink power from the booster is typically 6 milliwatts, much lower than the transmit power from a cellular phone working in the fringe area. You know, in a GSM call, the maximum transmit power will be as high as to 1 to 2 watts, way too high than the booster output. So it's pretty much safe, and there are many off-the-shelf in-car boosters of this kind. Just the LTE band varies from region to region, so you don't need to worry about this. Well, another thing I already talked about is the LTE antenna installation. The outside antenna is a magnetic shark fin antenna with a 3M pad. You need to install the antenna in a location that near the center of the roof and at least 12 inches away from any other antenna, say the radio antenna, and at least 6 inches away from any window, including the sunroof. So this is to avoid interference between antennas and any impact to the propagation of the antenna radiation. So that's how we address these two key requirements. And this is a picture of a real installation case of the car kit solution. The car kit and the tablet were installed beside the dash panel. And this is a sedan, a Ford sedan. If there is an SUV with larger space, you can install the tablet on top of the navigator or the aircon ventilation and put it as a landscape. The cables are better routed along the glove box, the side doors, or inside the pillars, so as to keep it neat and nice inside the car. But as I know, in some of the countries, there is no need of this LTE booster because the in-car signal is very good around the whole city, like in the big cities in China. So it really depends. In some of the country, you might not need this booster for the whole solution. This is one of the cases that implemented this car key solution, and the customer is from the Abu Dhabi police. They are using our PTC 760, but they need both of the tablet mirroring and LTE RF boosting. For the tablet, it is because the local law states that it is not allowed to operate the mobile phones or handheld radios while in the car. But a fixed tablet is permitted. So we extended the USB 2.0 port to the car kit so that the car can connect with the remote speaker microphone and the tablet at the same time. Now, they can use the applications on the tablet and virtually control the multimodal radio for their jobs. Well, we are quite proud to provide our most advanced radio solutions to this customer to help them be their best in the daily missions. 1.5 months ago, this customer released a video clip in their social media account. It's about the Abu Dhabi police officers sending the traffic tickets to the drivers with the penalty amount, just saying, stay home. And the police officers are calling on the residents to stay at home and to follow the advice of only stepping out when necessary for combating the spread of the COVID-19 in the country. You can see in this video that our radios, in their hands is the PTC 760. So we are quite proud that our multiple radio solutions are helping them in the front line to fight against the pandemic. Well, the next smart accessory solution is the VM220 camera kit. It is mainly used with the multimodal radio. Although the multimodal radio is equipped with dual cameras, sometimes you need to record a video with hands-free operation while the multimodal radio is still on your belt. Let's say patrolling in a very cold weather, you won't be happy to pick up a multimodal radio and holding it to take a few minutes video recording. So pairing with this camera kit, you're gonna be able to activate the small camera on your uniform by one touch click on a programmable button on the radio. So this camera kit is a two-wire design. The camera is 2 megapixels with the wide angle 110 degree supporting images format of HiUI, MPEG, or H.264. For the video, supports maximum 1080 pixels at 30 frames per second. It supports infrared night vision with 4 LED flash compensations. You can see the facial expression within 3 meters and human contour within 5 meters. This camera kit is targeted to extend the data acquisition capability of the multimode radio, and it is not recommended for law enforcement purpose like other Hytera body-worn camera products. And the recommended application scenario is for those radio users requiring mostly hands-free operations and irregular video recording or video streaming, like special armed force, event security, escort services. So event security solution is a typical application scenario for the VM220 camera kit. The compact camera can be fixed on the shoulder, and the PDT microphone is mounted on the lapel. So the wire is routed inside the uniform until reaching the multimode radio on the belt. The radio can be equipped with a leather holster if you want to take out the radio faster. With this solution, the backend dispatch can pull video streaming to monitor what's going on in field, to ensure the personnel safety and improve the situational awareness. And if the security notice something wrong or suspected, he can one-touch activate the application DCAM for video recording. These video files will be taken as an evidence and is not able to be edited or deleted. This evidence will need to be uploaded to the DM system, the Device Evidence Management System. Now, another typical application is for the Special Armed Force. They don't need to video record evidence, but their missions are even more critical and mostly not allowed to fail. So video streaming is much more important for them. And as the camera and radio is as important as the gun on their hand, it's literally their lifeline. They need to count on the video streaming to ensure the mission success and their personal safety. But this camera kit is tailored based on the VM220 model. It is no more a two-wire design, only one wire. This model is VM220P. The camera is separated and added the helmet mount kits so that it can be fixed on the top of the tactical helmet. The wire will be routed backward from the top to inside the uniform until reaching the multimode radio on the belt. The audio kit will be wireless so that the soldier will not get too much constraint with the wire routing. Bluetooth earset, Bluetooth ring, PDT. These wireless gadgets will facilitate the soldiers to respond as fast as he can in every mission. So this is one of our customers that using our VM220P solution. Same as the Special Armed Force solution I described just now. The video streaming is why the HiTalk Pro solution that connects to the LTE network. But they are using the PDC 550 pop radio instead of multimode radio 760 or 680 because they just need the DMR conventional interoperability with the POP services. If you need to have DMR trunking or Tetra interoperability, then 680 series is recommended. as they are more tough and robust. Well, so far I have finished most updates on the multiple radio products and solutions. And at the end of this webinar, I would like to share with you some success cases during the past 1 year, and mainly because of those great updates. Well, the first one is from domestic police customer. They are using a big Tetra network. This big Tetra network has more than 120 sites and more than 60,000 subscriber radios. They are also using the ruggedized smartphones for what we call 警务通, for smart policing with many dedicated applications, but they haven't used any POP services based on the broadband subscription. Their major pain point is the poor indoor coverage of the Tetra network. There are many blind spots at indoors, like basements. So Hytera proposed the Hytop Pro plus the multiple radio solution. With the multiple radio and in a connection between the Tetra network and the LT network, the police officers they are able to seamlessly roam under multiple networks without carrying 2 devices. And they can talk to different officer groups using different types of devices. The multiple radio supports full end-to-end encryption, which is another highlights to ensure the communication security, even with the POC services. So that's why we win, and the customers are pleased with this solution. They also commit to buy more radios in the coming years. So the next case is from an airport customer. It's a huge international hub airport. This airport has a large number of information-based systems, including 68 platforms and systems. Very, very powerful. There are many types of communication devices used in different areas. The PTC 760 is able to work under multiple networks, can talk to the PMR radios and any broadband devices directly. So the footprint of this device is much larger than other devices. And the multiple radio need to integrate with the airport operation application. So it can receive various information from the backend command center, including the flight departure and landing, cargo and passenger transportation, like food services, and the check-in group status. But based on this received information and commands, these groups can collaborate with each other very efficient, control the flight tasks in the real time, and complete their jobs as planned. Well, as an example, like the ground service is able to start preparation of the foods and beverage 15 minutes prior to the flight landing. And the managers are able to approve the e-flow on the application. No need to back to their office and do it on the PC. While with the multiple radio, they are able to interoperate with other device groups and collaborate with many teams to handle emergency situations. So this really helps the customer in information floating and improve their job efficiency. Well, they also use our smart MDM. This is to help to monitor battery health status as the call loading is pretty high for the airport staff. So they need to ensure the radio has sufficient battery life for their daily shift. So that's why we win this project. Now, the third case is about a customer from a large oil company. Well, they are one of the largest Russian oil companies today, and is an internationally recognized integrated holdings. The industrial complex of the company includes steadily developing enterprise crude oil and gas production, petroleum refining, petrochemical production, and Thai manufacturing complex. This project background starts from the customer want to digitize their network, they want to digitize their work, order, ticket management, and the patrol compliance procedures. But the problem is most of their facilities are not covered by any broadband network. If they are used the ruggedized smartphones, they can only use it in a minimum area around their facilities. So when the first time see the Hytera multimodal radio, it seems like, oh, that's the one purposely built for them. And the IT guys quickly develop the Android applications for the oil work order management based on the multimodal radio APK. When the radio is under the broadband network, the application can transmit full data information to the backend server, including those high resolution images and video clips, those big data files. But if the radio is under the Tetra network, the application will only transmit the basic data information to the backend. That means those big files will not be transmitted. And this really, thanks to the convergent platform of our multimodal radio that integrate the Tetra and LT into one single device. So very simple, just the multimodal radio, and that's why we win. So, well, this is so much for today. I think I wish I have updated you the most valuable information of our multimodal radio products. And thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And now we are entering the Q&A section. You can drop your questions on the Q&A box, and I'll try to answer it. Okay, thanks, Nick. This is a question. We have an unusual application for the multimodal radio. Can I email it direct? Yes, no problem. You can send to me if you. I have left my emails on the first page of my presentation. It's roger.leung@hytera.com, roger.leung@hytera.com. The second question is if I can get links for more technical details on HiTop. Well, yes, please contact to our regional sales or our marketing support, and they'll share with you those marketing materials and technical materials for the HiTop. If you still have more questions, our colleagues can, they're in charge of the HiTop Pro or HiTop product, they can answer you directly. Tablet system checkup. the immigration entry into a country. Yes, yes, it's viable. It just you need to find an application that for this for this um, for this checkup task. Is the Android version upgradable? Well, it depends. It depends on which Android version, and if there is one upgradable, you can find on the marketing materials from the regional sales, or you can send any inquiry to our regional sales or technical support teams. There is another question. What is your recommendation for a conventional VHF solution to be incorporated with the Hytera POC solution? Or as I mentioned, the POC solution, now we only support indirect connection. That means if you want to connect with a conventional system, either from Hytera or other vendors, you need to connect with them via a PUC gateway. So it's not a direct connection. But it will also help, the gateway will also help for the protocol translation between the conventional VHF solution and the LTE network that was connected by the the POC solution server. All these explanations on the technical sheet of each product. Excuse me, I didn't get it. This is a webinar presentation of the updates of the multimode radio products and hardware applications and softwares. There is not much technical sheet for each products, and we did have many marketing materials and some basic technical informations for each of those products, like multimode radio, like Hytera Pro, like those smart accessories. Yeah, you can get those information from our regional sales team and the technical marketing team. Okay, another question from Bian. Let's say I will install a third-party application that requires latest Android version. Is it possible? I'm sorry that this is not possible. Currently, the Android version is dedicated in the multimode radio or the pop radio. Because we have done a lot of customizations based on a certain Android version, so it's not possible to simply upgrade the Android version and everything has been adapted to the to a new Android version. Well, okay, another question from, I'm sorry, how to spell the name. Do you have version in Ukraine language for Ukraine region? I can't fully get your question either. You mean this language for multimode radio or for Hytera Pro or any other solutions? I think I need to double check after the presentation. I'm not sure whether this language is supported. You can you leave this question and send to my email, and I'll double check and reply you. All right. Yeah. Okay, here is a question. Can we connect with Hytera at any time for any questions or concerns regarding Hytera products? Yes, there is no question, no problem that if you have any question of Hytera products, you can send those questions to our regional sales and marketing team. If there is further technical details that to be clarified, they will forward the question to the headquarters, and I'll help to answer it. Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, I think it's pretty much for the day, and thank you for your questions and thank you for your patience. And so I'll hand over my microphone to Peace.
Okay, thanks Roger, Sourcing Roger for a wonderful presentation and Q&A. Thanks to everyone. Hope you enjoyed our webinar today. To provide a better experience in the future, we would like to hear your feedback on today's webinar. So we hope you can take some time to complete the question line on the screen. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now you will see some question on the screen. There will be more webinars coming soon. Please go to Hytera website or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn for updates. Okay, thank you once again. If you finish the question line, you can leave the webinar now. Thank you very much. Goodbye.